in a universe where life does not end at death. We explore the infinite possibilities forged by our very minds. Welcome to Arthadian Anthologies. Before we get started, I just want to inform you that this series was recorded over Discord. If the quality dips, it's due to connection issues. Greetings, fellow travelers and storytellers. Welcome to a Reborn in Power series featuring Dr. Cal and his creation, Proto. Follow along as he learns how to live and survive beyond the confines of the Zelek dynasty. Last time, in the Doctor series, Dr. Cal was escorted by Commander Carter back to Pillar Command after meeting for the first time a new squadron from the city of Turth-Trin-Trek, or at least they arose from the city of Turth-Trin-Trek. You, Dr. Cal, sent Liam a message asking about what was on the screen, but you have not received a message back. Proto and yourself were inside the pod, talking to each other about what was going on back at the solar orbiter. And then once you landed in Pillar Command, the two of you were escorted to, well, what seemed to be a large tower that held the barracks for a lot of the command officers and their squadrons. You went inside. Commander Carter waved to basically the secretary of the tower, and then went into the elevator that took you up several stories until you reached Commander Carter's squadron's barracks, basically where they live, in essence. And when you went inside, you got comfortable. Proto got comfortable. Proto actually now is holding your codex, your TL codex that you received from TL Frameworks. Hasn't given it back yet. And also you met Savol, who is the tech operative of Commander Carter's squadron. And the two of you began to hit it off a little bit. And you ended up going to sleep and finding out that there was some issues or some kind of network that was stemming directly from you, and you were able to contact or communicate with your brother. And then finally you woke up. And as you wake up, you're lying there. You see the window in the space, the light from the sun, the star, is beginning to emerge. And you look over and you see Proto is lying there, his eyes closed, his arms crossed on his stomach. He looks peaceful. It is early morning.
If I'm not mistaken, the last thing Dr. Cal heard last session was, "Now I know where you are." If I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, his brother tracked his location. So Dr. Cal wakes up and he's just, shit. That isn't good. Yeah. And he's just kind of cussing to himself for a little bit as he's like trying to wrap his mind around what just happened. I have no idea what was that. I didn't know that was a thing. Just and he tries praying to his god.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a religion check.
Oh man, I need some help. So that will be a D12, of course. 4. So that's a 4 plus. That's will, yeah. 4 plus that equals 19.
Okay. 19, you say. You try praying to the Allfather, and you don't get any response.
Of course. Never responds exactly when I need him. It's always, during a peaceful time for some reason. Yeah. He kind of just looks over at Proto. Is Proto still half sleeping?
He is
whatever
asleep.
He's doing?
He is asleep.
Oh, he's like straight up asleep?
Well, he looks peaceful, like almost like if you see an open casket at a funeral, kind of peaceful. His arms crossed over his chest. He literally looks like he's just dead, kind of thing.
Is he breathing? That's all that's important.
It looks like his body is still moving. His diaphragm is expanding and contracting.
God, that's not good. If he knows what this is, he would already know, right? This isn't like a secret base. Now he knows I'm specifically here, which means Deimos Cortex.
You suddenly hear a door open, and you hear, and walking from the other corner, you see Commander Kurter step around the corner, and you see he has a cigar that he is smoking currently, and he's looking at his codex and going through some things, and then he looks over at you. He has a tank top on, looks like a black tank top on, and you can see he is full, like he is ripped.
Of course he is. I imagine no less from Core Command.
And he goes over towards the kitchen counter, and then he looks over at you. He's like, "Looks like you didn't sleep well."
Commander, we might have a problem. I think my brother reached me in my dreams somehow. I think he knows where we are.
Reach you in your dreams?
It seemed to be a probing thing. I'm not quite sure. Probes are weird.
If he knows where you are, don't worry about it.
Are you sure?
Pillar Command has the best defenses on the harbor by far. All right. The only way they can take over this place is if they have completely infiltrated the inside of Pillar Command, and so far as we know it, they have not. All right. We would definitely have figured it out by now.
Okay. And I look over at Proto.
Still, he's still
sleeping.
Yeah, he looks peaceful.
I think that's the most peaceful Proto's ever been.
So we got an issue, Dr. Kel.
What's going on?
Apparently, I got a report from Micah specifying that the squadron, 3 of them fell unconscious when the computer showed whatever it showed.
I'm guessing the ones with enhancements?
He looks up at you. You guessed correctly, yes.
Well, I mean, it was like multiple reality, like spark tech. So I assumed that it would go for, what was it? One of them was wearing tech armor. One of them was a straight up Sin. One of them was a Kron, I know for sure.
2 of them are Kron, and then 1 of them is Sin. Yes, Micah said that Marmaduke woke up, so he is good, but he doesn't exactly quite remember everything that's happened wherever he was, but their minds are scattered across space, is what Micah explained to me. Don't exactly know what happened, but apparently they've been at Moriat for, well, most of the morning. I think they're resting right now, and then they'll be heading over here.
How would they get... Dr. Cal tries thinking of how, like... Because this is definitely, like, architect something. Because it's, like, advanced hypertech. That has to be, like, architect, I would assume. So he tries thinking if the sync zones could send like consciousness like that to Moriat.
To Moriat? No, they wouldn't send it to Moriat. No. Commander Kurter specifically said that they are heading to Moriat to try to fix them, to try to help them wake up.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm gonna say that's like Dr. Cal misinterpreting. Okay. How did they get to Moriat? That's weird.
Through a pod, Micah piloted them there to take them to like a shaman, try to see if they can like jumpstart their, I don't know, the conscience or whatever. Micah was explaining it to me like there was, when they went through the quantum force, something happened that allowed Marmaduke to wake up, and they think that something along those lines could happen for them, using the shamanistic rituals of the Redicon there at Moriat. I don't know. I don't get it myself, but I guess just let them do what they do. We have to figure out what we need to do here.
Right. That's the general. The general's putting on a meeting today, right? Is that what it was?
You see him kind of blow out a plume of smoke. You see the cigar that he has it looks very similar to the cigar that the Kron from the other squadron, the squadron that you met, was smoking. And
you and Mr. Marmaduke used the same brand?
You know, he gave this to me after we dealt with the raptors. Figured I'd try it out.
Okay, so Matt, here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is smoking still really bad for you? With all this sci-fi tech going on?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Curious. You think they would have figured out less harmful cigarettes by now?
Well, I mean, no, it's a cigar. Cigars aren't like, you're not supposed to like completely inhale. It's more like you hold it, and then it's the action of. Yeah, cigars technically don't have as much bad effects as a cigarette would have. This is not a cigarette. This is more of a cigar, like a big one.
Ah. Okay. Good to know. Things you didn't think you would learn this session of the entry 10.
Yeah, I've never smoked a cigar, but like that's what I've heard about them. I'm not entirely like sure if that's the actual case, but I'm sure there are some negative things to them. But from what I've learned about people who have smoked cigars and also cigarettes, they say that like cigars is more like you don't actually like inhale the full effect, and then it's more like you kind of puff it and then you blow it out.
Okay, curious.
Yeah. The more you know.
Yeah, the more you know. Dr. Cal, all about learning. And Dr. Cal's just kind of sitting there, and he's like, "But there was a meeting, right? That was the big thing."
Yeah. You're going to be meeting with the general today. And we're going to be... yes, go ahead.
This is a roleplay question.
Yes.
How often, is Proto normally up by the time Dr. Cal's up?
Yeah, he's actually usually up before Dr. Cal is up. You've only seen him like rest, really, but you've never seen him like full on take a full sleep. And even over your guys' conversation going back and forth between you and Commander Kurter, Proto is sound asleep. Like he is just peacefully laying there.
I don't know if Proto's ever slept that hard before. He doesn't technically need to, as far as I remember on my biology. He needs to rest, of course. I don't know if he has to sleep this hard, though.
Well, Dr. Cal, we're going to be leaving in about, I would say, 30 minutes to meet with the general. So, get yourself situated. Proto can come if you'd like him to come, but if he's just going to be sleeping there, it looks like he kind of walks over and looks at him. Is like, is he supposed to be sleeping like that?
I don't know. I don't remember him ever sleeping like this. He's normally, if he does sleep, he only sleeps for a little bit to recharge chemicals. Your bodies are weird.
Our bodies, yes. Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, they're all the same, like...
We're not all the same.
Subrays. I said subrays. We got similar bodies.
Okay. Yes, we have similar bodies, but some of us have evolved differently.
Yes. Like me and the Revoltics are different.
Surely you've learned about genetics before, right?
Dr. Cal, guys, thinking back, I guess would this be a biology check? Remembering genetics
yes,
of other...
It would be a biology check.
Good thing I have a talent in that. Let me roll a d12 real quick. Okay, that's a 6 plus 12 plus 3, so that is a 21. I'm gonna guess he remembers genetics.
Genetics, yeah. It's basically taking like the two, basically DNA genomes from a mother and a father and putting them together, and that creates the baby, and it kind of goes down the line of all the different like ancestors that people have had. You don't really like know to the extent of it because of, well, I mean, you're a Kargarath. You were born through the same kind
Yen.
of the same kind of thing. And you know that Yen actually completely copy the genome of the other, like basically their mate. So you're kind of like a replica of your father.
Still didn't go to his funeral. Sorry, I just always find that a little lore bit funny. You have your father's eyes and his genetics. Like all of them. So I remember a little bit of it. If I'm not mistaken, Yin or...
Okay, I that was just a rhetorical remark.
It was?
Yes.
Oh.
And he just stares at you. He's like, all right, just get yourself ready. Wake him up if you like. I'm going to go get my uniform on. And you see him go and walk over, and you see him puff. Another bit of a plume comes out of his mouth from the cigar as he walks over to his room.
Dr. Cal isn't going to try to wake up Proto too hard. He's just going to kind of go over and nudge him on the shoulder. And if he doesn't get up from that's the end of Dr. Cal trying to wake him up.
He does not wake up.
I'm not going to do a diagnostic unless he's still sleeping when I get back. And sleep tight, Proto. And he just kind of made sure all of his things are in place.
Okay.
Made sure his armor is fully charged, I would guess.
Okay, as you make sure everything is on and equipped and working properly on yourself, you finish up before Commander Carter does. Anything you'd like to do before you guys head out?
I mean, Dr. Cal, kind of like, is there a mirror in this room?
Yes, there is.
Then Dr. Cal, like, goes over to the mirror, and he kind of, like, does a look around of himself. And he remembers he's still wearing a Daimo Cortex jumpsuit, and the Daimo Cortex symbol is just on the back. Because he's never changed it.
Didn't you cover that up?
I talked with Marsh, and apparently I didn't. Like, I rewatched the first session. I thought I covered it up. It must have been something we talked about after session.
Yeah, it might have been in, like, between sessions but you can say it's covered up, or you could say that it's still there. It's up to you.
It's way more in character that Dr. Cal just completely forgot.
Okay.
So Dr. Cal's like, I should hide that, I think. I don't think that would be there. Like, he kind of goes over and knocks on Commander Carter's door.
You go over, knock on Commander Carter's door. The door slides open. And you see him. You see him there, and you see he has put on these what looks like these shoulder like pauldrons, and you see him kind of. Well, what's wrong?
I just remembered. I still have the symbol of Demo Cortex on my back. Is there like something I can get to hide that? I don't know if that's a real good thing when going into a room full of, Core Command. They're like, I don't know, like a little jacket, something.
Take off your QF armor.
QF armor? That is Q. You mean QM? Oh, quantum force.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay. He takes his quantum force armor off.
It comes off, and then you see him go over to what looks like a little chest, and he kind of places his palm on it, and then it unlocks, and he opens it up, and you see him pull out a little disc. He goes over, he hands it to you. You see this is to be like a tech armor, It looks like a light tech armor. He's like, put that on, it should cover it up.
Thank you. And I puts on the light tech armor.
You go and place it onto your chest, and it goes around your entire body.
Thank you. I just didn't think that would be great to look.
Well, now you look like the rest of us, so.
I'll try getting a better jumpsuit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Dr. Cal has only worn this jumpsuit this entire time. He never changed. Sorry. Just...
You need a change of clothes, Dr. Cal. You smelly.
I do. That's what you probably would get if you weren't stuck in a laboratory because all you want to do is craft. But,
Yeah.
No, we're going to talk about how stinky Dr. Cal is.
So after...
I imagine... Okay, sorry.
After another 5 minutes or so, Commander Carter comes out and looks over at you. He's like, you ready?
As ready as I can be. I look over at Proto. He's still sleeping, I would assume.
You see his head pop up and look over at you.
Well, I was just gonna leave you here, brother. You want to come along?
He just stares at you.
I will take that as a no.
You're heading to meet with General Plutell, yes?
Yep.
Oh, please roll me you don't have Analyze, do you?
I do have Analyze.
Go ahead and roll me an Analyze check.
An Analyze check? That's intelligence.
Yes.
That's a 5 plus a 12, so that's already a 17
plus...
And then I put a 2. That's a 19.
19.
That's a pretty decent check.
There's something different about Proto. From what he just said.
Are you
just
good,
the way he...
Proto?
I feel pretty good, actually.
Did something happen?
A lot has happened, I think.
I just realized his voice is no longer as robotic, is it? Oh. Oh. Oh no. that isn't...
Commander Carter, you look over at Commander Carter, and Commander Carter is looking at Proto as well, and then looking at you, and you can see on Commander Carter's eyes of like what is going on.
Dr. Cal, very he tries doing it subtly, but this is Dr. Cal, so he does it very, very obviously. He's like, he mouths, "I have no idea what the fuck is going on," and he's like, no idea. Well, Proto, do you want to come with, or do you want to stay behind?
You see he stands up. I think it would be good for me to come with.
Okay, well, I guess we'll have a conversation, because something definitely happened afterwards.
A lot has happened, yes.
Okay, Doc. Tell me if you want me to run a diagnostic. I know you can do it yourself.
If you would like to run a diagnostic, you may run it. But for your information, I was able to figure out how to run it myself in my sleep.
Dr. Cal takes a minute.
And Commander Carter is like...
And he just kind of he looks over at Commander Carter, and he looks at the door. He's like, well, I guess it's time to head out. We'll talk about this later, because this This means a few things.
Do you want me to come along, or do you want me to stay here?
That's up to you, Proto. Your choice.
I'll come along to listen in on what is going on and see what this place has to offer us.
Man. That's good. And I just kind of look over at Commander Carter, a little bit of fear in my eyes. But that's normal. This is is this what it's like when your kid becomes a teenager?
Or an adult.
Is this what it's like when the kid goes from toddler to adult?
Just skips the entire teenage. Well, I mean, the teenage phase already kind of happened. He had his angst.
No, he had the teenage phase.
Yeah, he had his angst.
He had a lot of angst. I'm glad I never really held stuff over Proto. That's the thing I tried doing with Dr. Cal. Like, I tried to be like, Proto, make your own choice. I never tried being like, you're with me. That's the only choice. I tried to give him freedom.
All right, well,
let's continue on.
Commander Carter goes over. He's like, all right, well then, if you're coming along, just, you know the drill. And the door slides open. As the door slides open, you guys walk down the hall going over to the actual elevator. The elevator door opens up and then goes down. And as you head out of the lobby of the barracks area, you go into the actual cityscape. And you begin to walk around, following Commander Carter. You see that Proto is walking and keeping pace with you both, and he seems to be looking around, watching the people walk, and you can see now, with your previous analyze of Proto, you can see now that he is walking in a different fashion. He's walking more like a prime would walk.
More organically, one might say.
Yes. And you see him. He looks like he's people watching right now.
Curious. I guess this has to do with the type of core you have and something else. He's just looking at Proto. Like, he's keeping he's looking between the two people.
Well, I mean, are you kind of mesmerized by Proto?
Oh, yeah, no, okay. 100%.
I'd like you to roll me a perception check. Actually, it's going to be a perception check with agility.
Hey, that makes it even worse. So already I'm 212. 12 plus, what is my perception modifier? That will be a 6 altogether. So 12 plus 6 equals 18.
18. As you are walking, you notice that you're starting to fall behind them because you don't have a long enough stride to match with theirs. So you're kind of like skipping along, but you're also looking at Proto because you're so intrigued by the drastic change in his demeanor.
Yeah. Yep. I think Proto is now officially the more charismatic of us. No.
You're not exactly sure what happened. If you like, you can roleplay with him.
Well, Dr. Cal is just like he's going through his own theories. He'll talk with Proto after this meeting.
Okay. So,
like, he's like, I guess it has to do with the core. Maybe the architects talked to him. Maybe his programming is just like, So this is what a primate's like.
You continue to move through this area, walking up to the biggest structure on this basically floating island of some kind around the ringed city, or the square city of Pillar Command, the square capital, I'd say. And you go over to the central area, walking up the steps. Actually, you don't really walk up the steps. You see, as you get onto the steps begin to kind of glide you up like an escalator does. And you get up to the top. And once you get up to the top, you go over to the sliding doors. The doors slide open to an open area where a bunch of people are walking around. A bunch of officers are kind of sitting around in different groups, and it looks a lot like the lobby over by the barracks. And you see a desk with multiple different officers all behind the desk and greeting people as they walk up. You see Commander Kurter waits in a line of other officers. The other officers like continue to kind of go through, and Proto looks around and is like, Commander Kurter, and Kurter looks back and is like, yes, Proto? Is it normal for officers to be, how should I put this, colluding with one another?
What?
Kurter looks back. He's like, what do you mean?
Do you mean are they Dr. Cal like thinks for a moment with his hands? He just kind of puts them to, I don't think I should make that gesture in public. But do you mean the relationshiping, Proto? Is that what you mean?
Oh no, that is normal for, I'm sure, many of the prime species. But what I mean is more along the lines of making deals that might not be beneficiary to those who are not within Core Command. And you see Commander Kurter, like, you guys are about to get up to the front desk, and Kurter just like looks back and is confused. And then you hear...
Did you overhear something?
And he looks down and is like, I've overheard a lot. And then you see you see Commander Kurter is like, what did you overhear? And then you hear, Commander? He's like, hello, we are here to speak with General Plutell. And he's like, General Plutell, all right. The General has several meetings today. Which, do you have an appointment with him? Yes, indeed. We are one of his first appointments. He's like, all right, let me check. Commander Kurter. Commander Kurter, okay, you are here to speak with him about the Directive 140, correct? Yes. All right, well, you may go over to his office in 5 minutes. And your codex now should have access to the scans. And you see Commander Kurter is like, fantastic, thank you. And he looks...
while Commander Kurter is like talking with this person, I like go over as close as possible to Proto, and I'm like, Proto, have you been tapping into the communications all night?
Their communications? No, I have not been tapping into their communications all night. I have just been watching people from afar and reading their lips.
Have you been in the security system then? Like cameras?
No. I've been
But
watching people as we've been walking over here.
Oh, sorry. I thought it had to do with the new attitude change. Sorry, my bad.
Oh. Okay. And you see Commander Carter. Commander Carter looks back at the two of you and is like, "All right, let's go walk over here until we get the notification on the codex, okay?" And you see Commander Carter goes over and takes a seat. And Proto goes over and takes a seat as well. And then Carter leans into Proto. Is like, "So what did you hear?" "What I technically saw was that there were a few different squadrons walking over here and also currently inside this space." And you see his eyes look over towards a squadron over in the corner, and they seem to be kind of huddled up around a table. He's like, "What I've heard is that there are a few different squadrons that are trying to make a quick volt chip, I guess. In order to, I am assuming to, how do I put this? Have leverage.
Screw with core command?
Screw with core command? No. More like benefit their pockets."
They're taking bribes?
They're taking bribes? I believe so, but if we were to investigate further, I'm not sure exactly what to do. And then you see Commander Carter looks over at the squadron that Proto kind of motioned to, and Carter is like, I'll speak to General Plutell about this. Thank you for bringing it to my attention, Proto.
Sure.
I figured that you'd like that." And you see Commander Carter smiles and then looks over at Dr. Cow's like, "Kind of liking this change."
I'm still not sure what caused it. I thought it was sudden intake of information, but it seems to be more. Oh, sorry, Proto. You're right here. I imagine Proto is sitting between me and Commander Carter with how this conversation.
It's kind of like a triangle. You guys are sitting,
it is?
Yeah, it's kind of like a triangle. You guys are
Then
sitting
I
at
just
3 different
over.
points.
Like, Proto, you do notice that you've changed, right?
Oh, I know.
I'm just making sure, because sometimes I didn't know if you noticed it with some of my talking. Did something happen?
A lot has happened.
Talking? Oh, curious. Were you approached by architects or something?
A lot has happened. That's all he says.
Fine, as long as you'll tell me about it later. If you want. I guess.
I can tell you about this later. Yes. And then you see,
Okay.
you hear, and then Commander Carter pulls out his codex. It's like, "All right, the general is ready." And he stands up, and he goes and walks over to the to one of the actual doors across the wall that the actual desk is in front of, and you see him go up and scan his codex, and then the door slides open, and you guys enter inside, and the elevator stops. Then it slides open, and you feel a bit of heat, like a warmth emerging. And
Oh, this
You
is the
remember.
office with the fireplace.
You
isn't
remember
it?
a fireplace, and you hear a fireplace. And
Right.
you walk inside, and you see General Plutell is sitting there at his desk. And you see him look over. He's like, "Ah, good. You have made it." And you see him stand up, and Commander Carter salutes to the general. He's like, "At ease." And Commander Carter goes to a rested stance. "I have brought Dr. Cal as requested, along with his creation Proto." "Ah, Doctor. Glad to have you back here."
This is about, what was it, Directive 140? Is that I think was the thing I kept overhearing.
"Indeed. Here, have a seat. Proto, would you like a seat?" And then Proto was like, "I prefer to stand." And you see the general nods and then walks over behind the desk. And the commander kind of stands in the corner and has his hands kind of behind his back, waiting for basically the entire meeting to adjourn or any questions to be thrown his way, or any commands to be thrown his way. The general looks at you. "So, Doctor,
Yes.
last we spoke, I spoke to you about your people, the Democortex, the Zelic Dynasty, and how I have been planning an operation to combat your previous home.
I don't know if home is the correct word for it.
Where you once lived."
That's more correct, I would say.
"First of all, before we get started here," you see him go over to, like, right next to his desk and pull out what looks like a little case, very small case, and then he opens it up and you see a volts chip. "Payment for the craftsmanship that you have shown to us."
Oh, do you mean the gun? I forgot that I gave the blueprints to you guys. It's been a bit.
"This is 5,000 volts up front."
Dr. Cal takes a minute, and he kind of just sits there for a minute, and then the number hits him. Mm-hmm. He's like, wait, 5,000? Wait,
up front.
That sounds like. Wait, what? There's more? He's not that rich right now.
As a consultant and scientist, and for what we are the information that we are going to be gathering from what you know and what you can help us with in this directive, we believe that it is crucial to be able to formulate a working business arrangement between us and you as a scientist yourself. So, $5,000 or 5,000 volts up front, and whenever a new purchase of the cornerite function, as it is referred to, whenever it is manufactured and produced, you will be getting a 10% royalty exchange for it.
I guess I should get to work on a way that doesn't use destroytium. Oh, sorry, Destroyt? That was the name of the metal.
Not to worry, we at Core Command have access to many resources. We can easily provide enough Destroyt to be able to manufacture said cornerite function. And we have our science division who can perhaps work to make it more efficient. But you came up with the idea. Therefore, it is yours.
Okay. I only expected like $2,000. Oh, I didn't realize it would be that much.
Like I said, we want to foster a healthy relationship between us and yourself. And you see he pushes the Volts chip forward.
I guess Dr. Cal, like, slowly grabs it.
Okay. You slowly grab it.
And he's just making sure. This is a lot of money, so he's just, like, really slowly reaching for it. And is it the VTD that allows you to switch Volt chip currency to your own?
Yes, and he specifies that you see him say, "Oh, and also this Volts chip is already connected to your identification, so whenever Volts, you can transfer those Volts to your own personal Volts chip if you already have one, or keep that Volts chip, and then any new Volts that come through will go through into that Volts chip, or whichever chip that you transfer the Volts to."
Dr. Cal is just kind of looking at this. This is some good money. And he slowly, like, puts his stuff in his backpack. Mm-hmm. He puts the bolt chip in there. We're having a shopping session. Just so we need to get some basic supplies. Like, more than one jumpsuit. That's what'll help feed you over there, Proto. Maybe enough to pay for a couple of days of food.
Maybe we can actually all go to a restaurant, huh?
Oh, right. Restaurants are a thing.
Yes, they are. And the general was like, anyways, back to business, shall we?
Yes.
He looks at you, and his face goes from like a pleasant kind of greeting persona to more of a serious tone. The Zerg dynasty has expanded out into the, command colonies. Not just the command colonies, but out into many of the different cities across not only our capital environment, but across the harbor, potentially even the other pillars. Not exactly sure how far they are going, but they have definitely begun making their moves. Therefore, we need to counteract these moves. We already have a few squadrons who are being recruited as we speak, meeting at several different command outposts across the border of Westeves. And we need more squadrons being sent out to command colonies to find these informants that are causing trouble in our regions. Do you think that you would be interested in going into space and helping us out there?
I was planning on leaving the planet anyway because of our issues with Dino Cortex.
Well, you'll be facing them head on with this.
Yes, but on our own terms, which is a lot better than them just showing up.
Indeed. You, Dr. Caller, will be joining Commander Kurter's squadron here. And Commander Kurter looks over like, and you can see on his face like he's He's curious, but also he doesn't know. It almost looks like he doesn't know if he wants that.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
Entirely fair.
And the general looks back at you and is like, you are going to be helping Commander Carter, basically helping to equip the squadron and with the proper understanding of how to combat the Cortexian informants.
As he's talking about combating Cortexian informants, my eyes slowly drift towards Proto, because he's the only reason I'm still alive when fighting TMS Cortex. Like, okay.
Don't get me wrong, I understand that you probably aren't the most versatile person to be fighting against such trained assassins, I suppose, is the correct term.
I once again just slowly look over towards Proto.
And you can see that the general is catching your drift, and he's like, we will also provide access to state-of-the-art research material to be able to craft your own materials that could benefit Commander Carter's squadron within his vessel. And you'll also be getting communications directly to the other squadrons that are sent out throughout the Foundation region.
I will still be considered my own. I would not be considered part of Core Command, just someone working with you.
You are a consultant, Dr. Cal.
I'm just making sure. Because me and Proto do have some plans for some areas we need to go.
Once this directive is mostly complete to where Montezelic and his Daimocortex is thinking twice about trying to face Core Command, well then you are free to go.
Sounds fair to me. I needed to make enough money for my own pod anyway.
You will be making enough money.
That is good. And I kind of look back over towards Commander Carter, seeing what his face is like at this point.
Commander Carter is just waiting for the general to say anything to him. And you see Commander Carter, the general looks over at Commander Carter, is like, Commander! And Carter looks up and is like, yes, General. Is your squadron well prepared to face these Cortexian informants? Indeed, General. I have been itching for this chance for some time. Yes, indeed. I know this. Well, I think I'll be looking forward to the reports that you sent to me. And Dr. Cal, if you ever do need any additional support for potentially new materials that you might require in your crafting pursuits, feel free to reach out. You'll find here in Core Command, or myself as the General, and also the Admiral that you'll probably be working under out in the Foundation region, as you will be reassigned, Commander, to Admiral Volton. And the General's like,
wait.
Admiral Volton. Indeed. It's like,
wait.
And Commander Carter's like, understood. But still, report back to me as well, because I am running this directive here on the ground. Volton is working alongside me to make sure that the command colonies are well protected, especially with the war going on. And Indeed. Of course. I will make sure that everything goes smoothly between us and Admiral Vulcan. Fantastic. Alright, well. Doctor. Proto. I look forward to seeing your progress.
We will try our best.
Please roll me a perception check.
Perception check. Where is perception? D12. I am not rolling good today. Well, actually, this one's pretty decent. I should shut up. So that's a 20. I think this is a 26. Yeah, this is a 26.
You look back behind the general, and you see where the fireplace is. It looks like there is it's almost like a mural that like shows this like fiery background, and it's illuminated, and it carries this almost like this living, breathing, like it is a flame. The mural it's mesmerizing. And then you hear the general say, "Oh, taking a liking to my mural."
I was curious by it. It feels interesting.
Oh, it is quite interesting. I have taken a very passionate liking to fire for some time now. Since we began the command colonies. It's been very intriguing, to say the least. But anyways, I blabber. You may go. Prepare yourself, and Commander Carter, you know what to do. Yes, General. Thank you. And he goes and Carter goes up to you both, and then begins to escort you out.
Dr. Cal just slowly makes his way out.
All right. You make your way out. And as you make your way out, the door slides open. And we are going to end the session there.
Hey, Matt. Why does that realm sound familiar?
What realm?
What realm? Not realm. He was sending us. Where was he sending us?
To
really?
To command colonies and stuff. You're going to the Foundation region. So where the war for command is happening.
Yeah, but what was the name of that command colony that we got reassigned to, or wherever?
No. Commander Carter is now also going to be reporting to Admiral Vulcan, the Admiral.
Oh, Admiral. Okay,
yes,
got it.
Admiral Vulcan. Yes.
Also, we're still recording, aren't we?
Yes, we are still recording. But anyways,
we'll talk with that after we record.
Yeah. Thank you all for listening.
Welcome to the pink section, which means Matt's finally going to make an ad for the Doctor.
But thank you for listening to the Doctor Entry 10, and keep on listening, because things are starting to heat up a bit more. I guess literally
I'm finally
speaking.
going to be able to do some of the things I wanted to do with Dr. Cal.
Yes, we'll see what happens. But thank you all for listening, and if death comes to you, may you be reborn in power. And credits. I thank you for listening to The Doctor. Be sure to check out the official New Age campaign, now releasing here on the podcast and streaming bi-weekly Tuesdays on Twitch. A link will be found in the description of this entry. And if you want to be reborn yourself, you can subscribe as a Chosen to access Chosen creation and exclusive Codex entries. Until next time, travelers, be safe, stay safe, and if death comes to you, may you be reborn in power.